Hello everybody, my name is Casper. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome to my channel if you're new. Today I'm back with another autism related video. Today, as you may have guessed by the title, I am talking about sensory overload. What is it? How do you help with it? How do I prevent it? All of that fun stuff. So let's talk about it. What is a sensory overload? So the best way I can describe this is basically, you know, when you're in school and you try to access either the school intranet or a website, and because all of your classmates were also trying to access the same site, for example, the site just crashed because it just could not cope with the sheer amount of people that were using it at once. That is very similar to how your brain would react in a sensory overload, because your brain is, yes, a very clever machine, but very sensitive. So when you have conflicting or more than one type of sensory stimuli coming in, your brain can only focus on one, and so it panics because it doesn't know which to prioritize and which to focus on, basically. Now, it doesn't have to be more than one, it can just be like an extreme of one. This can probably happen to anyone else, but it's most common in people with autism because their brains are just, the sensitivity dial has turned it, right up. Now this can manifest itself in irritability, lack of focus, stress, increased sensitivity to other sensory stimuli, feeling on edge or feeling wound up, just general discomfort, like feeling uncomfortable, increased breathing, increased like body temperature. I know I certainly have that. And sometimes it can rapidly deteriorate into much more than that, depending on the person, depending on the situation. How can you prepare for this? Obviously, it's not something you want, but if you're going outside, particularly to like the town, so for example, if I'm travelling up to London or if I'm going to an event, then I know that it is a possibility, so I want to prepare for it. And I would say the biggest thing is know your sensitivities and prepare for that. So for example, I know that for me, with my sensory profile, my biggest issue, my biggest sensitivity is sound. So I know that to try and help that, I will, everywhere I go, I bring ear protection. For me, it's in the form of headphones because I can't deal with in-ear earphones. And I bring communication aids to explain that to people as well, so I find that really helpful. I'm also pretty sensitive to light as well, so I'll bring sunglasses with me, and I will even wear them even when it's not sunny, because I know that it will reduce that input. Even if it's not stopping it, it will turn it down, so it's not so hard for my brain to compute, and my brain may not see it as a priority, if that makes sense. It's just that little bit easier for my brain. If you're most sensitive to touch, then maybe bring some gloves or some trousers or like a jacket to try and like minimize touching other things, or bring sensory textures or sensory clothes. If yours is smell, then maybe, I don't know, comfort smells or a nose peg, I don't know, just things like that, that can kind of help you and help reduce your sensory input, because that's the biggest thing that you want to do. And I think, again, communication aids, so things that are explaining to people, forms of communication to kind of explain to people what's going on and how they can help if you would like them to help, basically. Moment to help, I would say remove yourself from the situation. So a lot of pubs will have like beer gardens and smoking areas that are relatively well lit, mostly quiet, and there's usually seating and stuff. If you're unsure of if there's anywhere, then talk to a staff member. Many airports and some train stations will have sensory rooms. If not, then go to the toilet, because unless you're in a club or a bar, then usually the toilets will be quiet. If not, then just go outside. Just take yourself out of the situation, and try and reduce the amount of sensory input coming in as much as possible. So if you can, turn down the lights. If you can, turn down the music, put on some headphones, put on some sunglasses, and try and reduce the amount of stimuli that's coming into your body, so therefore it's easier for your brain to just it gives your brain that moment to just calm down, basically. But it will pass with time, and the more you have it and the older you get, the more you learn your sensory profile, which is basically your strengths and your weaknesses in terms of sensory needs, I guess you could say. And the older you get and the more you experience them, the more you know how to deal with them and how to prevent them and how to prepare for them. Because they're uncontrollable, we can't always decide when we have them, but often with sensory overloads you can kind of feel them coming on. So if you can catch it in that build-up moment, then it often will, if not stop it, then it will reduce it, which is a lot better for you and a lot better for the people around you. Sometimes it can be a little bit helpful to bring someone out with you who is aware of your issues and can help as well, so help take you out somewhere else, help with reducing the sensory input, and just help with explaining to other people. But it's just trial and error and seeing what works for you, I find, is the biggest thing. So yeah. I'm going to leave you with this one little fact because I'm going to stop rambling now. But although it's most common in people with autism, there's also other conditions, other people who have them with other conditions, if that makes any sense. So sensory overload is very common with those with sensory processing disorder, chronic fatigue syndrome, and Tourette syndrome. So although it's not overly common, it's not as rare as people think, and it happens in children, adults, literally everyone. And I will leave some links below to some other videos that may help you out and may help others out as well. So I hope you guys found that informative. I'm sorry if it was a bit rambly, but I just wanted to squeeze as much as I could in. And yeah, anyway, I shall see you next week. Bye guys.